you can see that it's very significant that in the ladies, it's very like it's red and it's very colorful. And based on the IUCN Red List, this species is endangered species, and it's also endemic to Laos, PDR, Vietnam, and perhaps some part of the Cambodia, because it's not confirmed by the scientists and also the researchers that this species is also distributed in some part of Cambodia. And the dukes and the habitat in Laos are facing increasing threats in the past 10 years. And because of the poor status of the species in Vietnam and also Cambodia, because they have higher rate of deforestation and more accessibility to the forest and habitat, it makes Lao population the world's largest and also have more hope in terms of the species conservation. And in this paper, and as well as this presentation, we are going to talk about Nang Kai, Nam Thern, and Hin Nam No National Protected Area. 2 areas
Beautiful.
that hold the largest number of these species, but they are also facing a great risk from hunting. And as for your information, this species is in the same subfamily with this old-nosed monkey that is also native for Asia, as you can see in the pictures. Now let's move on to the introduction. Like I've mentioned before, that this species is distributed in Indochina or in Southeast Asia. Let me zoom in a bit. So you might see the borders here, but this is the territory of Laos and Vietnam and Cambodia over here. So you can see that the majority of the distribution areas is covered in Laos and some part of the central Vietnam. And this light blue is probably this species is distributed there, and it's in Cambodia. Remarked that the global population is thought to have been declined over 50% in the past 30 to 40 years, or in 3 generations, and predicted to be continued. Let's move to the next point. Why this topic and about this species is critical to be discussed about. They say that Laos has the world's largest, but yet received a little attention. For example, there's only one study regarding to this specific species in 2008. And also the number of these species in Laos are still unknown. And they are also highly threatened, mainly hunting and increasing of accessibility to the habitats. So as you can see here in the picture, the camera trap can capture this young hunter with his guns and also the dead body of the raised shangtuk. And it also shows that this species is also being threatened by hunting from the local people. And the last report that I have mentioned about this species by Timin and Duckworth in 1999 may not be relevant anymore because it's long ago in the past. And now let's talk a little bit about the method. So they have reviewed the reports of the mammal surveys conducted in Laos, subsequent to Timin and also Duckworth in 1999. So these reports are between the year of 1999 to 2012. But however, the paper doesn't mention how many numbers of the reports. And in these reports, it contained the direct village review surveys that conducted near and inside the protected areas and also other wildlife habitat under the development project influence. And there are also numbers of field surveys with sightseeing points and also camera traps. However, some errors have been found in the records. For example, the unmatching between the local name and scientific name that might lead to the misunderstanding between different species. And also none of the reports have covered management units and also heavy hunting. So they don't cover or mention about the management or about the threats that the species is facing. Okay, now about the result. So there are many things, but let's have a look here in the map first. So in the map, have a look on the region. There are 4 main areas that have been displayed in the map. But however, in this paper and also in this presentation, we are going to talk about these two areas, which are the dukes that have been confirmed and reported from the year 1999 to 2012. So let's have a look at the flag areas first. So there are 6 areas, which are the areas where this species was confirmed. And especially these 2 protected areas, which is the first one, Na Kai Nam Thön, and the second one, Hin Nam No, hold the largest numbers of these species. And the other 4 areas are not far, not really far away. And as you may see in the map, that they are quite restricted to the east and more or less share the border with Vietnam, because Vietnam is over here. But there are also some areas in the gray parts over here that have been reported from the villagers that these species have been found. However, it's not confirmed yet that these species are there. But however, the Mekong River is not geologic factors that these species is distributed only in the east of Mekong River, but these species have been found mostly in the evergreen forest and semi-evergreen forest from the foothill to the mountainous area. But however, in the higher altitudes, it's not clear still. So let's move to the next point. The discussion. Now let's talk about the conservation status of this species in Laos. I have divided into 2 parts. In the green box are going to be the more like the positive parts, and here are going to show the negative parts of the conservation status. So from the results, we have seen that these species evidently still occurs widely, and they occurs from the southern part to the central part, like you have seen in the map. And these species are also is also classified under the prohibition categories of Lao hunting regulations. And there is this initiative from the government, which is the gun collection program. So they go to the rural areas and collect guns and weapons from the villagers, aiming to reduce the hunting rates. But however, there are many threats that will lead to the habitat loss and overhunting. For example, dam constructions and also the overhunting. So the overhunting here is highlighted because it's the main threat for the reduction of the species numbers. And 70% of Lao people still rely on natural resources for their livelihood. And the regulation, according to these regulations, we also have found that it has so little effect in rural areas due to the weak law enforcement, and also the penalties are not very effective. And according to this gun collection program, we also have found that the villagers can still easily and cheaply make their own guns and weapons to use for hunting, like you can see here in the picture.
That's how they hunt?
Yeah. And also hunting the dukes or this species is not anymore just only for the food of the family, because the trade with Vietnam maybe become more creative activities, so they can earn more, so they can hunt more in order to sell to Vietnam and also some part of Thailand. And this is the global importance of Lao populations, as we have discussed before, that because Lao population have found to be the strongest and they are more hope for the conservation. But however, according to the increasing of human density and human access into the forest and the habitat, and many development projects, and also the trade nationally and internationally, and the weak law enforcement and management system, it makes this situation becoming worse. And now let's talk about the identification and current status of the priority areas. So it has been highlighted in the paper that the base conservation strategy is to prioritize the population to receive the available resources. And only when these populations are secured and protected, it will be prudent to expand to other populations as well. And as for now, Na Kai, Nam Thön, and Hin Nam Non protected national protected areas offer the base hope for the conservation of the large population in short term. And there is this conservation project that is working on preserving these three main species, and you can see that the red shantos is also one of the main work there in this Nakai Namturn protected area. However, Laos' largest hydroelectric dam, or the name is Namturn II, recently constructed beside the protected area. As you can see here in the picture, this is the protected area, and the dam is constructed here, just beside the protected area, so it might affect the habitat of some wildlife species. And despite the fact that they also give some fun to the conservation project, but they also bring some civilization and more accessibility to the habitat, and also more opportunity for wildlife trading as well. Now we have come to the last part of the presentation, which is the general recommendations and priority areas from the authors. And they have mentioned about 9 points that should be prioritized in order for this species to survive. And I'll go through each one roughly. Number 1 is to increase trained and motivated management staff, like you see in the picture. Okay. Ensuring the primacy of biodiversity conservation into management. And number 3 is to enforce the law and make the penalties more strict. And number 4 is to increase the number of patrol in the protected areas. And number 5 is to design the priority management zones. Number 6 is to enforce and control at the strategic trading points and routes of the wildlife. And number 7 is to discuss with the local people about the species in order to educate them to value more of the existing of the wildlife. And number 8 is to train more national students in order to increase more number of conservationists and improve more involvement from the universities. And the last point is facilitation of international collaborative scientific researches in Laos to aid the establishment of the conservation plans and publication to Lao wildlife. And we have come to the end of the presentation. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much. Questions?
I think you did a really good job. That was really, really lovely. In one of your slides where it was titled, "Why is this critical?" it said Laos has the world's largest, but the world's largest what? Is it population? Okay, I wasn't quite sure. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. That's
and this is from the authors, so
yeah,
all of the messages are from the papers without editing anything, and it's have mentioned there that Laos can hold the world's largest number of the species.
Okay.
But however, because we haven't looked on any other papers or researches, so this is still one of the points that I would like to critique as well.
Okay. Also, when you said one of the strategies was gun collection, do they find that if the local people are having their guns taken away, does that make them more negative towards the monkey? Does it speak about any effects of?
No,
okay.
No.
I was just wondering.
No, but as you can see in the picture, the program is not really effective because he's still holding a gun. So it's effective in some areas, but there's one photos, for example. Sorry. These snares are a very effective tools for hunting the monkeys or the apes, because they can be captured very easily when they're moving through the trees, and they're stuck in these snares, and at that time it's very easy for the hunters to capture or kill them without any effective weapons. So the main problem for this species is this snares.
presentation was beautiful. Like the slides are really well done, and pictures, and also the topic is really interesting. And it's really interesting that it's an endangered species and everything, and they don't even know much about any of the population, like numbers or more research about it. And
From the
I like it.
from the result, they don't mention about the certain numbers of the species that have been found. They only mention that are in these areas with these numbers of sightseeing points, but they don't really mention about the numbers of the species. Even though they have mentioned in the critical points that the numbers are still unknown, and it remains unknown.
Well, nobody. Yeah. Your slides are very pretty and catchy. You worked well with the highlights, conducting the thoughts and pointing out to what you're saying, and that connection was perfect. I'm sorry to not have the negative feedback on that. However, on the language, you have also very good dominance of English. I didn't realize any nervousness there. But your body language, you must watch out with the flying hands. Although we had no time here and you needed to rush, and that's normal, okay? However, the flying hands could happen also when you have time, I would say. So that's something you might want to watch out. But it was a fantastic work.
I also like very much how you address us like, okay, let's start. Or let's like, it really involves us all like to continue listening to you.
Does it make it like informal? Because I was thinking if it's formal, like if in the formal presentation, should we begin with that kind of introduction? Like let's.
For me, it was perfect.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You don't need to do that.
Are we allowed to talk about the presentation?
I also felt that at one
no, we are
point,
mixing, or we are shifting to the presentation already. Yeah, I think it's okay. Yeah, or we can also mix it if you like, and start now with both. If you still have content questions or remarks, but I think we should come because time is short to the form, structure, and way of presenting. Sorry.
at the beginning, I felt you were talking a little too fast, or at some points, but I think it was clear. Maybe you can slow down, but I mean, you were nervous. But I think it was good. I really liked it.
With your form, I thought it was really nice the way that you were more general and you were like, okay, let's get started or let's look at this. I really like that because it makes you feel like you're really in the presentation also. And I really liked your introduction where you like greeted us and then you said your name and we already know you, but I think that also adds a really nice element to it where you respect us to like greet us, and that's really lovely. And you had really lovely transitions between one topic and another. I liked that also, and the way that you interacted with your presentation was really nice, and so it kept people really focused. So well done, I really liked it.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think you have a natural gift for this, and you also have your design abilities that helped a lot with your presentation. So you managed very well the aesthetics and the composition of your visual products. So that's really great when you are socializing science, because normally these are topics that are hard to follow, and then you manage to the visualization of the topic to drive us into the topic and keep us there during your whole presentation. So I like this very much.
Yeah, I liked your presentation very much. It was said before, so your behavior and your speed, it was a bit too fast and your hands were a bit too much flying around, but I think I liked very much your slides. And of course it's always difficult, or it might be a risk that it's too colorful and too much pictures. But I think this was, for me, it is completely okay. I think this is scientific for me too. I think this is not too much for me. This is my personal perspective. perspective. But of course, if it would be a little bit more, then maybe it would be too much. So you're always on a, I don't know how to say it, but you have to, of course, to be careful with it. But I like very much that you are playing with these boxes and colors that with a very light color, so it's very light green, but these are the positive things every time. And the light reddish one is the negative things. I think this is very good. So you're really playing with these boxes and colors, and you highlighted important words with red. And I think this everybody can do. Of course, this is more work, but makes it eye-friendly and easier to follow. And I have a look and I see overhunting, local hunting, so I know directly what is going on, and this is very good. And of course, pictures are important to get the audience. Maybe you can have a look on yourself when you listen to a presentation. First, you look on the pictures and not on the text. So with the pictures, you can they help you with your own what you want to say, and what you write down on the slides is more the second thing. This comes after the pictures every time. So it's normal that we first look every time on the pictures first, because they're colorful, they look nice, and then we go to the text. So you can really do a good job with the pictures, and with backgrounds and colors and so on. I like it very much. But of course you have to be careful, and even with the colors. So the background on your own computer looks always different than at the Beamer. What's the English name?
Data show.
Data show. Because if the contrast is too much, you cannot read anymore. So you have to double check. Maybe before your defense, you have to check with the Beamer if everything is okay. Because if you use a background, I like a background, but this is completely okay. This is perfect. But if the background would be more colorful and not so light, then the contrast is bad again, and so you have to double check it. But back to your presentation, I like it very much, and it's very good. Yeah.
Yes, I'm very impressed. I think you gave really a professional presentation. I like very much the start, how you welcomed us. You had the personal relation. You showed us the necessary information. You came up with very attractive slides. You handed out a gift to the audience, because you show us you have really, this is time to prepare such a good presentation. So it's a gift to us. We can be happy. You guided us through these slides with using the diversity of media and possibilities in a well proportionate way. You reacted very professional when I said only 1 minute. Then you were able to adapt your presentation. You only went from headline to headline. It's terrible if you are guiding a session and then you say, oh, you have 1 minute left, and the people go every detail. And then you say it the next time and they cannot adapt, yeah, because they're so nervous. And so great job. And you have a big sense for the visual presentation and visual things. And I liked also, we all liked when you pronounced in your home language. So this makes the thing so personal, and so it shows that you are related very directly and from a different perspective to what you're talking about. And so this is for making us the thing more attractive again. So we have first-hand information, or at least we have the idea that we would have had kind of first-hand information. I have one critical point, of course. I think this is because you also, and maybe it's also due because it's the first time we present, and so that you a bit forgot about having the critical distance on the paper you presented, and maybe also the critical distance to what the authors are coming up with the conclusions. because I think this is very important, especially in Laos, when you have these results that you can show. Well, these authors, they make a nice analysis, but here and here and here and here, there are weaknesses. Maybe in the analysis, they forgot about this and maybe forgot about that, because, well, will it help to really protect, conserve this endangered species? So try to strengthen this critical, more, let's say, competitive aspect of analyzing scientifically, also that you really can, you have the duty to show us as a scientist, the weakness in the paper. Being fair, but also show us where the weak points are. Yeah, thank you again. And alumna from the program, she from China, Gao Heran, she worked over the Mekong River. She was here in the alumni meeting, but it was before you came. She wrote her thesis, if you're interested in, over the Mekong, because the Mekong is coming from China, from the southwestern part of China, and it's also in China one of the biodiversity hotspots of the whole region. And I can imagine that also China has